Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and today I will be presenting the final project in StandUp for my UA Tanks project in GPE205 game programming at the University of Advancing Technology. Um, if you've been following me for the last 4 weeks, this is basically just a complete overview of what has been done in GPE205 and going through and making sure that all the objectives have been met. So, I will be detailing the final results of my UA Tanks project and moving right into it. First objective, main menu exists and buttons for options, start game and quit game are functional. And bring the volume down a little bit. So we have options menu, quit button is functioning, debug log to see that functionality since the game hasn't been built yet, and start button or our play button takes us to the level, and there's nothing showing because I didn't select any options here. But I will show functional gameplay here shortly. Alright, options menu exists and selections for sound effects, music volume, 1 player, 2 players, map of the day, and random map are available. Going back into the game, start with the options menu, our volume. As I move this volume slider, you can see the master volume slider moving over here. I just created a public audio source and pulled that into it. That's right on my game manager. Right here. Public audio source, my main mixer, and my sound effects. You can see if I do the sound effects, that also is adjusted. 1 player, 2 player mode. Checking the manager, you can watch the number of players based on our selection. Map of the day, or random map, toggles. And those options do work. You see single player, and we have map of the day. Map is generated from instantiating tiles and option settings. And option settings of map of the day random map is functional. We just seen a little bit of that. I will show you how that map is generated now. So if we go to our project prefabs, and I have my room tiles here. There's 4 of them. Depending on the map size chosen, those will generate randomly from an array. And let's go to map generator prefab. So here we have an array of grid prefabs, our 4 options here. Designers can put as many as they want here. Set rows and columns, map of the day. And this is actually in our main scene. We have the map generator. It's currently set to 3x3. Let's say 5x5. Go random map. And now we can see our map is 5x5 grid. With the 4 blocks, they just randomly scattered throughout as the map generates. See that again? Didn't mean to hit that play button. Player randomly generates on any of these spawner points. There's spawner points on every tile. And the map size is adjustable by designers. We just saw that. And we have 4 tiles. We just walked through that. AIs and players spawn, not present at level load. We've seen that. I'll show you one more time. Sometimes, because I haven't set up logic for when they spawn in the same spot, I'll clip through the scene. You see my players have spawned in at different locations, one over here, one is over here. My enemies have spawned in. My power-ups are spawning in randomly. Two-player mode utilizes different controls for each player and split screen. And key player data score lives tracked for each player. Let's take a closer look at that. Here you can see score, health, lives for player 1 and 2. We have a split screen. You can see one player is moving independently of the other. Have all controls for both players. Score is separated. Also, the health and lives are separated, as you can see. Pick up spawn and are able to be picked up by players and AI and respawn after a set time. Kind of got a view of that earlier. Let's make some adjustments to this map. Two by two, that way we can make sure that the enemies are going to run into them. Alright, something happened with the spawner points that time, they glitched out. Still a couple bugs to work out. There we go. You see the spawn points coming in. So pick one up, another one will spawn in a different location. See if the enemy will pick up the spawn. And you see that the enemy can also pick up the spawn and benefit from it. Game includes at least 4 AI tanks that correctly utilize state machine logic. Let's go to our main scene, and I'm going to add in my manager. It should be showing up anyway. Actually, let me make a quick change here. 4 enemies. Alright, so I have the AI set to patrol from each of the spawn points on the map. Like I said, there's one in each tile. You'll see our enemy, they start in patrol state. They have different patrol methods. I have them all set to loop around all of the points. And the AI state, chase, flee, rest, patrol. So, see, he's gone into chase, back to patrol, chase. Based on proximity and line of sight and hearing. Player live scores, high scores shown in the game UI, and the UI functions correctly in 2-player mode. We've seen that earlier. Let's play some friendly fire to make things move a little faster. So everything functions properly in 2-player mode. And something is going on with my camera. Well, everything is set up properly. I'm not sure what just happened. We'll try to run through it again. Okay, cameras are working. Should be working. There we go. And then one player, you can see my health and lives are still functioning correctly. Score is still working as it should, and camera view is in full screen. Options and high score persist between game sessions. This is an option that I just wasn't able to get to, and with this class coming to a close, I had to get this submitted. So hopefully I'll get this added in the future. Game ends when both players' lives are 0, and game over conditions work correctly in 2-player mode. When one player dies, the others will continue. Yeah, we just saw that. And we'll see what happens when both loses their lives. Both players lose lives, and we go to the game over menu screen where the high score would be set up. Once I get the save data all hooked up. And then of course we have our quit button and our main menu button from the final scene. Game sounds play, tank fire, we've heard the sounds, all the sounds are working correctly. Game manager singleton exists, allows easy access to all the key objects. As you can see over here, some player stats, number of players, map of the day, random map indicators. The map generator is stored here. Max number of power-up spawns. The delay on the spawns, the power-ups. The enemy spawn delay at the start. We have settings. This is for the controlling buttons. You can see in our code that the game manager is public static game manager instance, and that it is set to destroy itself if there is another game manager in scene. Bug and error free mostly. AI is still a little buggy, but they are transitioning states, and mostly they're doing what they're supposed to be. They get a little confused about which player to chase, and their auto fire isn't working as good as I would like it to. But other than that, everything is functioning properly. Comments for all my scripts. Every page is commented. Project organization. Everything organized into folders: art, audio, objects, scenes, scripts. Go through, see how I have this laid out. Enemy spawners, power-up spawners, my actual power-ups, projectiles, my tank prefabs, my scene tiles, my scenes, my script, and the Unity assets that I have used for this project. Code logic and structure goes hand in hand with bug and error free. Mostly everything is working as it should. There's a little bit of craziness with the AI and how it's targeting both players. And game exceeds minimum requirements. I think because of all the Unity assets I've added in, I have somewhat of a mechanical theme going. The prefabs for my tanks were put together really well. That Unity asset package that I got for that was, this is my UI, mechanized gaming GUI. My RTS light tank provided all the necessary parts for the tank. Everything was already separated out, and so I was able to add movement to the turret and the guns, the radar, the tracks. I was able to break apart all the pieces and move things individually. So that makes this asset look really nice, and it has very realistic feel to it. I changed the material on the different tanks to add more depth to the game and the enemy as well. For the room tile, we were provided a prefab. I made some adjustments to it in order to create a more open level and to give it more of a natural, kind of an arena feel. My buttons toggle as they're supposed to. Real-time updating of the manager. Sound effects, volume, all my sliders, my particle effects. I think these are reasons why my game does exceed the minimum requirements. Here is the explosion prefabs that I'm using. So I believe that meets all of the check marks for this project. Done in 5 weeks. Lots of room for improvement, but I learned a lot. And this will wrap up my final project in StandUp for GPE205 game programming at the University of Advancing Technology.